What, this whole thing? Crazyboutya is a song, Crazyboutya is a song that I wrote after listening to just way too much Stevie Wonder. There's no such thing as way too much Stevie Wonder. But I was listening to a lot of Stevie Wonder in college, and I remember wanting to write something like that, and Ed actually had a song that was a sort of similar vibe as that on one of his records, and I remember he showed me how to play it, and I was like, I'm gonna steal all of this and use it for myself. And I'm sorry for that. And I sort of took that stuff, some of the chords he showed me and stuff, and wrote that. And I've been wanting to write something that's kind of fun and fun to play live. And the title is actually, I'd been listening to a lot of Music Soul Child at the time because I'm super hip and I was in a know. Which of course you're thinking, when I hear that song, I think Music Soul Child. But more the title, because he does this really cool thing in a lot of his records where he sort of takes the title that would be 3 or 4 words and just kind of makes them into one word. And I was like, man, it'd be cool to call this song Crazyboutya as opposed to Crazy About You, which is so white. But I am. And so that's where the title sort of came from, which in retrospect I think was maybe not as cool as it was at the time. There's a lot of things I like about the recording itself. I think Dan Needham played drums on it, and Dan is an amazing drummer here in Nashville, and a guy I actually wanted to work with for a long time. And then Calvin Turner, who was playing bass for Mark Broussard at the time, played on it, and one of my favorite things about the recording is it feels like a bunch of guys having a good time playing music, and it doesn't sound like something we like super thought through as far as starts and stops, to the point that I still, like, maybe one of my favorite things on the record is Dan, if you listen, when the broken down chorus happens after the bridge, he actually plays too far into it, and we left it in because Ed and I both thought it was so fun that, like, the super professional, drummer sort of lost his wherewithal because he was having so much fun playing. And I remember looking in there and he was kind of like, but we loved it and thought it was kind of one of those fun moments. And I love the kazoo on the bridge. I still can't believe Ed convinced me to do that. There's some really cool stuff Ed is doing. Another one of my favorite parts in the song is there's an acoustic part that coincides with Dan's fill about the middle of the song. But I think overall, one of the things I like the most about Crazyboutya is how fun it is, and I feel like the guys, like, we all played it. It was really fun. It wasn't a bunch of guys sort of making sure everything was perfect. And one of my favorite stories about that song is when I was dating my now wife, we were at my sister and brother-in-law's rehearsal dinner. It's a true story, which is embarrassing, but we were at their rehearsal dinner, and they started their slideshow, but when they started, the sound wasn't on it. And so they pulled the sound up, and it was kind of, and I could barely hear the music, and I was like, just like grooving so hard, and I just started dating my wife. And I mean, like, I was at the table like, oh God, this song is killing me, and she's sort of looking at me weird, and I was like, I mean, are you feeling it? I mean, I was feeling it, and she was like, this is Crazyboutya, you know that. And I was like, but because the song had started halfway through, I thought that it was a different song because it started the chord progression halfway through the chord progression, so I could barely hear it, but I just remember thinking, I gotta get this song, whoever this is, which is the height of fantasy.